for us today. So, hello. Hey. The structure for today is we're going to have a talk from Sam, and then we're going to move through a talk 20-25 minutes, move through to a question and answer time, when you guys from the floor can stand up and ask a question, whatever comes across your minds. So just keep that in mind as you listen to a talk. If you have a question, you might want to jot it down. You can ask that later. Throughout the talk, if you want to grab a bite, feel free just to stand up discreetly and walk around and grab a bite. Come back to you, Jeff. Feel free to do that. We've also got some drinks. Okay. Sam, thank you for coming back here.
Thank you.
This is your
Third time. I did Easter last year, Christmas this year.
Yep, and thank you. We keep inviting you back for a reason.
All right. Thanks. You couldn't find anyone else.
He's an excellent speaker, so got something to look forward to. I don't want to hold you back too long, but maybe share with us a bit, for those who don't know you, a little bit about yourself.
Sure. All right, so I was born in Hong Kong, as you're going to find out, moved to Australia, childhood years in Adelaide and Darwin, then moved to Sydney when I was the age of 8, gradually moved from the western suburbs. We went from Campbelltown to Lemire to Minto, one station each time along the railway lines. Then I studied at Sydney University, did medicine, worked as a doctor at Westmead Hospital, and then I had a career change, so I did theology, did a PhD in theology in Chicago. I've been teaching theology for the last 10 years, and now for the last 2 years I've been a public speaker for City Bible Forum. What does City Bible Forum do? Well, I explain it this way. You know how work in the city and business districts can be pretty soulless places. So our role is to bring the soul back in and maybe give our souls a bit of a recharge. So I'm one of the public speakers. I give talks at breakfast, lunchtime, and sometimes after work as well. And I still work 1 day a week as a doctor. So any job you do for 1 day a week is a hobby, it's a holiday, so I do it for fun. I hold a leg for an orthopedic surgeon. A trained monkey can do what I do, but the government in its wisdom says no, a doctor needs to do that. So I turn up to work just so they don't find out what it's like when I didn't turn up. Hey, life was better without me. And so I turn up just so they don't ever work out they don't need me there for the operation.
Thanks, Sam. If there was one thing you would like us to keep in mind today or to take away today, is there anything you'd like to say now, or are you going to leave it?
I'll leave it for the
Leave it to
talk.
talk?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much.
All right, thanks, Sean. Well, 3 things changed my life in a big way. First thing was my parents moved to Hong Kong, to Australia, when I was just a baby, a 6-month-old baby. And because of that, I'm an Australian citizen. I have an Australian passport. My first sport was AFL. The second thing that changed was when I was 17, I got a driver's license. I bought myself a Holden Tirana, just like that one, and I became that guy, the Asian driver. And I'm independent. I can go where I want, when I want. The third thing that changed was at the age of 40, I had 3 kids, Toby, Coop and Jonty. They're now 8, 6 and 4, and that has changed my life. I'm permanently tired, I'm exhausted, I don't get to drink coffee, I don't read the paper anymore. They're a lot of fun, but they're very tiring at the same time. And maybe they're things that change your life forever. Maybe it was getting your first university degree, your first overseas holiday. Things do change our life. And Easter happened 2,000 years ago, and Easter has changed our lives forever. So that's what we're looking at today. How has Easter changed our life? And the Bible explains it very simply. In one verse in the Bible, it says this. This is what love is. We didn't love God, but God loved us. And He sent His Son, Jesus, on Easter to die for our sins. And the Bible says this changes everything forever. But how does Easter change everything forever? Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a quiz. We're going to do a quiz today. So I hope you didn't think this was going to be a 20-minute monologue from me. We're going to have a quiz, and for that to happen, we're going to have to break up into 4 groups. So maybe this half will break up into 2 groups. So 3 rows each. This same 3 rows each form into 2 groups. So we'll have 4 groups all together. No mobile phones, please. There's an honesty system. There are prizes for getting the questions right. And there'll be 3 rounds. 3 rounds. So let's break into groups and we'll go to our first round of questions. Sean, I'll get you to hand out 1 pad per group. So these chairs forcing on wheels. And you can form a little circle. Round 1. We're American Idol, there'll be 3 questions plus a bonus question. So we'll do the 3 questions and we'll look at the tally and we'll see who wins. Whoever wins will get a bag of Tim Tams, and then which you can share in your group to reward the group collective effort. And then also there'll be a few bonus questions after each round, and if you get the bonus question, you can either choose a Red Bull to get through the rest of today, or a chilled coffee, an iced coffee. Alright, so round 1, American Idol, 3 questions. Question number 1 is, what year did American Idol begin? What was its first year? Alright, we're ready for question 2? Yeah, you either know or you don't know. Alright, question 2. What are the names of the 3 original judges? What are their names? And there'll be 3 points for this question. 1 point for the last question, 3 points for this question. What are the names of the 3 original judges?
Paula Abdul.
Okay, question number 3. I'm going to show you 4 people. Which singer won the very first American Idol? Was it Keith Urban? Was it Carrie Underwood? Was it Kelly Clarkson? Or was it Philip Phillips? Which one of those 4 won the very first American Idol? 1 point for this one. Alright, time's up, so let me get the answers, so you self-mark. Honesty, honor system here, and yell out what you got. Okay, so what year did American Idol begin? 1 point, 2002. What are the names of the original 3 judges? 3 points, so 1 point if you get each one right. Randy Jackson, Paula Abdul, and Simon Cowell. So 1 point for each correct answer there. And then question 3, which singer won the first American Idol? It was Kelly Clarkson, 1 point. Alright, so this group, how many points did you get? 4. 4 points? 4.
8 points.
8 points. 8 points, wasn't it? Okay, it's creative and counter. So, which firm do you work for? Okay, so how many? 4. Oh, which one? 3. Wow, how are we going to do this? Wow, okay, ooh. Okay. How about, your tiebreaker question is, how many seasons did American Idol go for? How many seasons? Alright. Everyone's counting with their fingers. You got Excel spreadsheets. Alright, so what's the answer on this one? How many seasons? 11? 15? 14? 13? The answer is 15! Yay! Alright, and bonus question. This is an essay question, but first person is brave enough to offer an essay humanities type answer. What do you think is the secret to the success of American Idol? 15 seasons, 30 million viewers. What do you think was the secret to its success? Anyone?
Publicity.
Publicity.
We're launching a musical career.
That was, yeah, because got people involved by proxy. I will give you that one. Do you want Red Bull or iced coffee?
I'll go for the coffee, I think so.
Oh, okay. Very noble, very noble. Alright, so now you wonder why I've mentioned American Idol. What can American Idol teach me about Easter? Well, according to James Ponywazek, in an article, he says the secret to American Idol's success really is this man, Simon Cowell. Harsh but fair, called it for what it was, and he says Simon Cowell was a slap in the face to the American culture of self-esteem where I can do anything if I just set my heart on it. It was a critique of the can-do attitude of the Western narrative, where people will come and sing and be terribly out of tune and say, no, but I believe I can fly, I can do anything I want. And Simon Cowell's answer is, no, I'm sorry, you can't fly and you're not in tune. It was a reality check that there is an objective reality of in tune, and no, you are short of objective reality, you are out of tune. And what Easter teaches us is this as well. We too are out of tune with God. God has a rhythm, God has a standard, a tune He wants us to live by, and we too are out of tune. And we can try to believe it away, we can try to wish it away, we can try to rely on a can-do, self-esteem attitude, but the news of Easter is this: we too are out of tune with God. And I think we find our own individual ways of being out of tune with God. I had a self-diagnostic moment last year, and it went like this. My best friend got a redundancy package from work, and he's younger than me, that was so big, he paid off his house and bought himself a second new car. Now, part of me was so happy for him, but there's a small part of me that was a little bit envious. God, why him and not me? And the Bible calls that envy. Envy. And envy is a dark, dangerous, shameful thing that lurks in our heart. And what envy does is this: I'm wishing misfortune upon my friend, really, aren't I? I'm also angry at God and how His plans don't match my plans. And there's a little bit of jealousy and malice as well, where I'm wishing misfortune upon my friend. So with a tiny thing like envy, I'm actually dishonouring my friend, I'm letting myself down, and I'm also dishonouring God and His plans for me. And the Bible calls that sin. Sin. I'm out of tune with God. And this is what Easter is saying. It's saying this is what love is. We didn't love God. God loved us. We're out of tune with God there. And He sent His Son Jesus to die for our sins. And that's the reality check that we're hearing. We have a problem called sin. And we are so out of tune with God that God actually has to send His Son Jesus to get us back in tune. And as much as we like to say, no, everything's okay, Easter, just like Simon Cowell, harsh but fair, but calling for what it is the reality check we all need that right now we are out of tune with God, so out of tune, God actually has to send His Son to die for us. That's what American Idol teaches us about Easter, and that's how Easter changes our lives forever. Now it's round 2 of our trivia quiz. This time we are going to do Twilight. It's everyone's little secret, because someone likes the novels and someone's reading them. Okay, 5 questions. 5 questions and a bonus question afterwards. Question 1 is easy. What's the author's name? 1 point for the author's name. You all know it, you're just too ashamed to say it. Everyone's pretending not to know the answer. Question 1, the author's name. Question 2, name all 4 books and you get 4 points. 1 point for each book. Alright, so name all 4 books. Question 3, for 1 point, Bella falls in love with Edward in book 1. How old was Edward in book 1? Is that too hard? I'll give you 3 choices. It was 44, 54, or 104. How old was Edward in book 1? 1 point. Next question, question 4. In book 2, Bella falls in love with Jacob. What was Jacob's last name? 1 point. What was Jacob's last name? Well, that group is completely silent here. But this question 5 is easy. Question 5, all you have to do is, as a group, work out how many books, Twilight books and Twilight movies you have seen or read together as a group. So cumulatively, in your group, how many Twilight novels and Twilight movies have you guys read or seen? So just here, and the average is how many points you get. Alright, so ready for question 1? 1 point. Your author's name was Stephanie Meyer. 1 point. All right, all 4 books. Question 2, 1 point for each book. Book 1 was Twilight. Book 2 was New Moon. Book 3 was Eclipse. Book 4 was Breaking Dawn. All right, question 3. How old was Edward? He was 104 in book 1. 1 point for that. Question 4. In book 2, Bella falls in love with Jacob. Jacob's last name is Black. He was Jacob Black, the son of Billy Black. And then, just out of interest, what was your average of Twilight books and movies read in this group?
27.
The average, 27 1.8. Very good. 1.8, what about you guys?
1.1.
1.1. 1.7. Hey, this group. You guys get a bonus prize. Oh, you get just for that. You get it. All right. So, how many points did you guys get all together for Twilight? 27. Okay. And so, for bonus question, who wants to volunteer? Essay answer. What do you think is the secret to Twilight's success?
Definitely the love story.
It's the love story.
A woman who has all of the two people she really likes, and then start pushing the twos, and then all the people are very interested in the two twos.
Right, did you guys hear that? Love story has to choose between two. I heard that Edward is what every woman looks for a man. Like, he can read my mind. That's what I'm thinking before I'm thinking it. Alright, now do you want a Red Bull or iced coffee? Coffee. Alright, so what did Twilight teach us about Easter? How does Easter change our life? What interesting about Twilight is it gives us a version of vampires, where vampires are gorgeous. You would love this guy to bite into your neck. You drool over him. He can read your mind. That is one version of reality. But interestingly, 50 years ago, we had a different version of reality, a different version of vampires, and they're like this. Hideous, grotesque. You wouldn't want this guy biting your neck. And you didn't drool over him, he drooled over you. You didn't drool over him. And you think, well, these aren't mutually compatible corresponding versions of reality. They're actually two competing, two opposite, two contradictory versions of reality. And right now we have two competing, two contradictory, two alternate versions of reality when it comes to who we are as human beings. This is one version of who we are. And this is what this version says. And right now, I guess it's the present Western narrative that, I'm not perfect, but by and large, I'm a good person. And as long as I just believe and follow my dreams and just trust in myself and don't listen to what other people tell me, everything's going to be okay because I can unleash the power that comes from within me and I can be anything I want to be. So that's one version, and it's a very strong, prominent version right now. And maybe it is the right version, but there's a very different version of humanity, and it comes to us in the Bible where it says, you know what, I'm not okay. I should be okay, because I was made by God, God loves me, and I'm in God's image, but I'm not okay, and I know I'm not okay, because God has to save me. And I know that's a patronising and condescending thing that God needs to stoop down and save me. But I think that is the reality. That's who I am. I want to love, but I end up being selfish. I want to be wise, but often I'm foolish. I want to do the right thing, but often I do the wrong thing. I'm not okay. And no matter how much I believe, I'm not sure I can save myself. And I actually need someone else to save me. And that might be God sending me His Son. So they're two very different versions of reality. Which one are we to believe? They can't both be true at the same time. But the Bible gives us its version of reality. This is what love is. We didn't love God. God loved us. He sent His Son Jesus to die for our sins. God loves us so much, He saves us. And it sounds patronising. It sounds condescending. But that is the reality. We need to be saved. This is God's version of who we are. So whose version should we believe? The prominent current narrative that we're very exposed to, or the Bible's version? Which one are we to believe? Well, the Bible says God actually pays for his version of reality. He puts skin in the game by sending his son Jesus to die for us. It says this is what love is. Now, if you think about how is this a loving act? I've often thought that. You know, if God loves me, just give me chocolates and a Red Bull, and that's enough. Anything more is a bit excessive and a little bit creepy. You know, the guy sends you flowers, already that's creepy enough. But if he says, I'm going to die for you, at that point you go, whoa, dude, inappropriate, you crossed the line, and now you're definitely creeping me out. So when Jesus says, well, the Bible says God loves us so much, he sends his son to die for us. How is it a loving act? It's actually only a loving act if it's a necessary act. If he has to do it. If he's dying for us in our place. That's the only way it can be a loving act. Otherwise it's an inappropriate act. And it's sort of a creepy act as well. But it's loving. So God puts his money where his mouth is. He died to his version of reality. And he asks us to also believe in his version of reality that we do need to be saved. So that's how Easter changes everything. Because of Twilight. And finally, Star Wars. Alright, so I think we've got 3 questions here. Fine. These I do know. First question. Question 1. Star Wars. What year did the first Star Wars come out? 1 point. That's question 1. What year was the first Star Wars? Question 2. There have been 7 episodes, 7 movies. Can you name each episode? There have been 7 Star Wars movies, or episodes as they're called. So can you name each episode? 7 points altogether, 1 point for each episode that you named correctly. Wow, so alright, there have been 7 episodes, 1 point for each. Episode 1 was The Phantom Menace. Number 2 was Attack of the Clones. Number 3, Revenge of the Sith. Number 4, A New Hope. Number 5, The Empire Strikes Back. Number 6, Return of the Jedi. Number 7, the one that just came out, The Force Awakens. 1 point for each. Question 3, who is this guy? He's BB-8. 1 point for BB-8. Alright, how many points did you guys get? 6 points. Alright, bonus question. What do you think is the reason for the success of Star Wars? Anyone? Humanities question, so you can't get it right or wrong. Yes?
Good versus evil.
Good versus evil. Puts us in a very moral, black and white, good versus evil. Very good. What was your answer?
Special effects.
Special. Yeah, do you want Red Bull or coffee? Wow, no one wants the Red Bull. Did you want another coffee? Did you want another bonus
I
prize?
look at the Red Bull.
Yeah. It's a long afternoon.
Army day.
I heard one of the reasons for the success of Star Wars is it made science fiction fun again. Before that it made all very weird in the 70s and esoteric, but it made it fun again. So what can I learn from Star Wars? And how does this teach us about how Easter changes everything? Okay, that was the reason for the success of Star Wars. Oh, bonus question. Bonus question. This is Yoda. I think it's 16 inches tall, so 1.5 feet approximately. How much do you think that's selling on Amazon in US dollars right now? What does this group think? Give me a number. 150 US?
$1,000.
1,000 US?
5,000 US.
5,000.
That's up to
1,500. Wow, what was all that was anchoring? You guys have a big number, you guys will anchor on the big number. The correct answer is only 97 US dollars, so you guys are close. You want the Red Bull, don't you? And 97 US dollars is about 130 Aussie. So I saw this at a toy shop in Croydon Park for $130. My boy wanted it. And we both realised, oh, we can't afford $130 for that. But that got me thinking about value and money. Like, in terms of intrinsic value, what is that worth? Probably a few cents. It's a bottle of plastic. But in terms of extrinsic value, people put a value on it because that is what they're prepared to pay for it. That's why it's $130. Or in the language of behavioural economists, they say what's going on here is You would rather have this plastic Yoda than have $130 in your pocket. To you, it's worth more than having $130 in your pocket. So there's extrinsic value, because that's what people are prepared to pay for Yoda, $130. So that got me thinking, well, what is the value of me, a human being? In terms of intrinsic value, $1, chemicals, that's all I am. A bit of carbon, a bit of nitrogen, a bit of hydrogen, $1, maybe in a chemist's shop. But in terms of extrinsic value, that means we all now have to search for trophies to give our life value above our intrinsic chemical value. So that's why we look for trophies, university degrees, qualifications, a job, a career, success, reputation, status, a trophy family, a trophy house, a trophy suburb. We need trophies to find extrinsic value. But the trouble with extrinsic value trophies is they're arbitrary. You know, they go up and down in value and currency. And how much does this person value this trophy which I have? But with God, God changes everything. With God, if we have God, our intrinsic value is we're all in the image of God. That's why every human being is precious. It's actually very hard to explain why each and every human being is precious without saying they're the image of God. We always have to go to the language of extrinsic values like achievements and qualifications. And with God, in terms of extrinsic value, God adopts us to have the status of His children, and He pays for us. So in the language of behavioural economists, God would rather die for us than let us be in our natural state. That means we are worth more to God than God saying, I'll stay alive in heaven. He sends His Son Jesus to die for us. So that's our extrinsic value, the life and death of the Son of God. And that's what this is saying. This is what love is. We didn't love God, God loved us. And He sent His Son Jesus to die for us. That's our extrinsic value. That's God would prefer to have His Son die than leave us the way we are. And that is how Easter changes everything. It shows I have value which is far beyond what my qualifications, what my degree, what my trophy house and trophy suburb can give me. So to wrap up, what does American Idol teach us about Easter? There is a reality check. We can be in tune with God or out of tune with God. And God says, you are so out of tune, I have to send you my Son. What does Twilight teach us? It teaches us is there are two versions of reality. And God's version of reality is this: we need to be saved. As much as we find that patronising and condescending, God puts His money where His mouth is. He pays for His version of reality by sending His Son Jesus to die for us. And what do we learn from Star Wars? Where there's extrinsic value that people place on things, and the only value in our life without God is extrinsic values. We need trophies, we need awards, we need qualifications, we need status, we need reputation. But if I put my trust in Jesus, and I know God and I worship this God, I have an extrinsic value. I'm a child of God. I have His Spirit living in me, and He actually pays the price of His Son for me to have me as His child. So I'll just end with a very quick story. I'm Asian. I'm a high achiever. And this could have been how my story went. So I had to study hard. I was an annoying kid who always put up his hand in primary school and say, Miss, what do? I finished all my work. I need more work. I was that guy in primary school. In high school, we got 99%. I think, where did the 1% go? I got into medicine at Sydney University, which is the ultimate trophy for high-achieving firstborn Asian son. But the whole trouble with being a high achiever, I don't know whether you know it, is you have this volatile, destructive mixture of pride and insecurity. You always need more trophies, more mountains to climb, and you always remember your failures more than your successes. I would have burnt myself out chasing another trophy, another Everest to climb. And worse, when you have children, you project your insecurities on your children. Now I have to do everything to get them ahead. And I can't fathom how they could be happy in life unless they too had the trophy job, the trophy house, or the trophy suburb, or the trophy family. They too need trophies if they're to be worth anything and to be happy. But knowing Jesus broke the cycle for me. Like, I grew up in a Christian family. I knew Jesus for as long as I remember. But I think it wasn't until I was about 16 when I read the Bible systematically, and I suddenly realised God sent me Jesus not just to die for me, not just to take away my sins, not just to get me to heaven, but because Jesus is perfect, I don't have to be perfect. And I can just be me. And God loves me just the way I am. Me. And He loves me too much to leave me the way I am. So every day is a project with God where He makes me more and more like Jesus. I'm on a journey with God. And He's changed the way I treat my children. Now I realise I can just chill. They can do sports to enjoy sports, not to get ahead. They can do music if they want to, because they enjoy music, not to get them ahead. They can go to school and just enjoy the learning and friends at school, not because this is how you're going to get into medicine or law one day. So they can just enjoy life, and I too can enjoy life as a gift from God. I'm perfect because Jesus is perfect, so I don't have to be perfect. God seems He is perfect, and He loves me too much to leave me the way I am. So every day there's a project, there's a purpose where I become more and more like Jesus. So that's how Easter changes my life, my story. And after today, I'll be interested to see how Easter might change your life story as well. Now, we have time for maybe 2 or 3 minutes of questions. So any questions on anything I said today or anything on Easter in general? Or anything on Twilight, Star Wars? American Idol? Yes.
Why did Jesus have to die? Like, why is dying something?
Yeah, why did Jesus have to die? Yeah, so, because if it wasn't a necessary act, then it's a foolish act, it's not a loving act. Why is it necessary that Jesus had to die? I guess the only way we can understand that is we understand just how valuable human beings are. So let me explain by several things. So this is how it works. This is something very hard for us to understand. It's all about proportionality. So, if my kids are boys, so sometimes I come back and I find them hurting a fly. And I think, okay, that's probably not a nice thing to do. That's a bit cruel. What do I need to do to teach them a lesson? Or what do I need to punish them if that's a crime? And we did not much because it's a fly. Get over it, it's a fly, okay? But say I come home and I see them hurting a dog. Suddenly I think, okay, that's a worse crime and might need a worse proportional punishment. What if I see them come back and hurting a child? Then suddenly there's a proportionality going up here. So what I'm trying to say is our view of what's wrong and what's a proportional punishment comes down to how valuable we think the thing being harmed is. So if it's an insect, if it's a dog, or if it's a child, we have an issue of proportionality. So the Bible says that when we shame God, or when we dishonour God, or when we shame and dishonour people, it's actually a very high crime, because God has a very high crime of humanity, because they're all in the image of God. So somehow, when we shame or dishonour God, we've done something so high in terms of proportion that the punishment has to fit the crime. And according to the Bible, this is something very hard for us to understand in Western cultures. Non-Western cultures find it easy to understand that somehow, ultimately, the punishment for what we've done is death. And that is how the Bible explains. That's why ultimately we all have to die one day, separation from life. And then there's a natural principle built in the universe of 2 things. One, the idea that to live, someone has to die. So that even when we eat bread, when we plant seeds sort of die. That's how we get bread. Or if we eat meat, some animal has to die for us to eat. If I wear a leather belt, an animal has to die so I can have a belt. So there's this principle to live, someone has to die. But also there's this principle of substitution as well that seems to be built into the universe. I think that's just how God is programmed. So again, to live, someone has to die. We celebrate that every year at any exact time, that our freedoms didn't come free, our life didn't come free, someone had to die for us to live. So all that to say that when Jesus comes, He is taking the punishment that is rightfully ours. I mean, it's so hard for us with a Western culture to understand this. And as He does it, He takes our shame, our sin upon Him and our death. So He died so that we might live. So that's a very long answer. And I think it's a very long answer because in the West what's happened is in philosophy they talk about 3 aspects of justice. There's retributive justice, there's distributive justice, and there's reformative justice. And almost all cultures throughout the history of humanity have understood all three aspects of culture. But recently in the West, in the last 100 or 200 years, we still have reformative, we have distributive, but we've lost retributive justice. So we don't quite understand this idea of punishment or why someone has to die. But if we have all three, then we understand, okay, this is why there's a penalty of death for the way I've lived, for the way I've treated other humans, for the way I've treated God. And so Jesus then takes my retributive justice in my place, and that's why I can live. Yes?
How can we be sure that Jesus came back from the dead?
Yeah, how can we be sure that Jesus came back from the dead? Well, it's Jesus coming back from the dead is what we call a unique one-off historical event. So there are many truth claims, right? So we have mathematical truth claims, 1 + 1 = 2, triangles have 3 sides. We have scientific truth claims, the sky is blue, water boils 100 degrees Celsius. We have skill, know-how truth claims, I know how to make a pancake. We have relational truth claims, my wife loves me. We have legal truth claims, I am innocent of crime. And we have historical truth claims, World War I began in 1914, ended in 1918. So we have truth claims, and then we have, in this column then, how do we justify each truth claim? What are the sources of knowledge, and how do we test the truth claim? It's like you have tree falls in a forest, but you didn't hear it, how do you know? So that's an issue. Something's true, but how do I know it's true? So with maths, we use the rules of deductive logic. With science, we use the rules of inductive logic and the scientific method. With skill, know-how, knowledge, I cook a good pancake, you have to experience it, you have to eat the pancake. That's how you judge that truth claim. With relational truth claims, my wife loves me and I love her, you have to actually know us, you have to know me, you have to know my wife, you have to be in relationship with me and my wife to know that. So with legal truth claims, it comes down to eyewitness accounts, verification, explanation of best fit. With historical truth claims, again it comes down to eyewitness accounts, verification of accounts, and also explanation of best fit. And did I have a last one after that one? I can't remember, just not off the top of my head. So then you're going to say, what sort of claim is Jesus dying for us on the cross and rising from the dead? So it's not so much a mathematical truth claim, it's not a scientific truth claim, it's not a repeatable thing, it's a one-off historical occurrence. It's sort of a legal truth claim, it's a historical truth claim, and it's a relational truth claim because God is saying, this is how you know I love you, and it's an experiential truth claim as well. And so how to experience it? Well, we look at the evidence of eyewitness data. So for Jesus rising from the dead, we of course have the Bible accounts, but the Bible's not one book, it's multiple books in there. So we have multiple contemporary eyewitnesses. But at the same time, we have contemporary non-Christian sources that seem to verify it. And then so you have internal evidence, and you have external evidence of non-Christian accounts. Also, then you have the explanation of best fit. How does this best explain the changes in the first century, the explosion of the Christian church, no body ever being found, the changes in the lives of the disciples, why they prepared to die for this claim, they could recant at any moment. Also, Paul saying, I saw Jesus come back from the dead, not just me, but 500 other eyewitnesses who are still alive to this day. You can talk to them, you can ask them. So again, multiple eyewitness accounts for this one-off historical event. So it's a legal claim, it's a historical claim. But now, it's also a relational claim. Because the Bible never tries to prove that God exists. What the Bible tries to prove is God loves us. And in the end, the only way to know if this is true is just say, okay, I'm just going to have to believe. Because I had a friend, my best friends, they're happily married now, but when he started dating her, she actually, because she had a friend working in the police, did a police check on him just to be sure. Like, how do you know he's not an axe murderer or something like that? And then you can't be sure. You can't be sure because police records don't have comprehensive evidence. So in the end, somehow you just got to trust this person's claim. And in the experiencing of it, then the relationship flourishes. And then, hey, I think you do love me. And so we somehow have to make that movement then, not against the evidence, but sort of beyond what evidence can tell us, and say, you know, God, I'm just going to believe, and you say you love me, and then we experience God, so it becomes a relational, experiential verification process as well. But in terms of how do we prove it, well, we just don't know what truth claiming is, so we can't prove it deductively like maths, inductively like science, so it becomes explanation of best fit and reliable eyewitness contemporary sources. Explanation of best fit is actually how we believe most things to be true. It's how I know my wife loves me. So when I go home to her tonight, she says, I love you. I don't say to her, prove it. Give me an experiment. Give me a kilogram of your love. It's sort of something, it's an explanation of best fit. I think you do love me. My friends seem to back it up, seem to verify. I think you do love me. When they say, so it's how I know my wife loves me. For those, you know, so for even contemporary claims like global warming, it's actually an explanation of best fit, and based on that, we're prepared to make big financial decisions on an explanation of best fit. And Jesus rising from the dead and God loving us is also an explanation of best fit.
Okay. Thanks, Sam.
So thanks for having me.
So everyone should have received a comment card. We've just crossed over 1:30, so in case you want to look at your watches. We appreciate if everyone could fill that out, please. If you have a chance, just going to take a minute or two. And as you make your way out, feel free to grab a bite if you're not in a rush. If you're on your way out, please leave these on the black table just outside the front door. And if you're holding onto a pen that doesn't belong to you, there's Lent, just drop it off as well on the table with your comment card. If you have any questions that you also didn't get a chance to ask, why don't you circle one of these options about finding out more. You can circle the first one, and you can write it in your comment bubble as well, and we'll take that into account. These will stay just circulated among a group of 4 people, so that's not going to be circulated broadly, your comments. But we'll reach back out in touch with you if you want us to do so in that time. Okay, hope you've enjoyed yourselves, and we'll see you next time.